Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for logging in to look at our presentation today, which is part of the annual AHEAD Conference 2021. The name of our presentation is Adapting a Peer Mentoring Programme for the Digital World. My name is Suzanne McCarthy. I'm a senior educational psychologist with National Learning Network Education Support Services. We have a number of support services in different HEIs across kind of Dublin and Kildare. And Aisling is here with me today. I'll let Aisling introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Aisling Creighton and I'm an assistant psychologist with the National Learning Network. So as part of my role as an assistant psychologist, I coordinated the peer mentoring programme in TU Dublin Blanchardstown. So the programme is run between TU Dublin Blanchardstown, the National Learning Network, and Catherine Slattery from Mentoring Resources, who's the external consultant for the programme. So I'm going to talk you through what we'll be covering in today's presentation now. So we're going to begin with an overview of the programme, and that's going to include the face-to-face version of the programme and the adapted online version of the programme. Then I'll go into some programme evaluation as well. I'm going to cover the live event attendance figures, and I'm also going to talk about the mentee feedback surveys. And then Suzanne is going to take over and talk you through the mentor feedback, the suggestions for future in the programme, and conclusions. So just in relation to this week's theme, we felt that our presentation today tied in most closely with this theme, as the programme is offered to all incoming first-year students in TU Dublin Blanchardstown. So all first-year students who enter college in TU Dublin Blanchardstown are linked up with a mentor, and they can engage in the programme if they wish. So the aim of the programme is to support inclusion for all students, inclusion in terms of their social and academics. So the programme engages students in a multiple means of ways. There's 3 different aspects to the programme, and the students can engage with whatever aspect of the programme they prefer. There's no onus on the students to engage in all aspects of it. And then the themes for each week of the programme are developed in consultation with the students. So we ask peer mentors what they'd like to see in future programmes, and then we tailor the content and the themes for those weeks with their feedback in mind. So just to give you an overview of what the programme has looked like in previous years, in the past, in the face-to-face versions, there was a very strong social element of the programme. So the mentors would meet their groups of first years once a week in the sports hall, and each department would meet on a specific day. So for example, the humanities students would meet on a Monday, and the mentors would do different activities with their groups, and there was also a lunch provided for them. When everything, in response to COVID-19, everything had to be moved online, and the programme was adapted to work in the online environment. So Catherine Slattery redeveloped the programme and developed 3 different strands of support. The first one was Get Connected Chats, the second was Get Connected Calls, and the third one was the Get Connected Live Events. So the Get Connected Chats, essentially we had a Moodle page, and each mentor had their own Moodle discussion board. So first years could ask their mentors any questions that they wanted on these Moodle discussion boards, and mentors could also share advice for first years. With the Get Connected Calls, the mentors met their groups of first years once a week and had a weekly video call with them where they could answer any of their questions and also share advice. And finally, we had the Get Connected live events. So these were weekly live webinars, which were on different themes, and we had different guests on each week. So I'll talk to you now about some of the themes and the outlines of the sessions. So in semester 1, we had 4 different weeks, and there was different themes for each week. In the first week, we had Get Started, and it was all about getting students set up with online learning. And in our webinar, we had a member of the library staff on who gave a tour of the library website. And we also had a mentor on who gave a tour of Moodle. In the second week, it was all about getting students involved in college life and getting them involved in the social aspect of college life, even when studying remotely. And the Student Union came on our webinar that week and gave a talk about how to stay involved in college life. In the third week, it was Get Focused, and it was all about studying remotely and how to study from home. And we had a workshop with the National Learning Network, and a mentor also shared her experiences of studying remotely. And then in our final week, that session was all about self-care and looking after yourself. And we had a live mindfulness session in the final week, semester 1. So that was semester 1. And the program also ran into semester 2. So we had one catch-up session in semester 2, which was called Get Exam Result Ready. And this was all about understanding different things related to your exam results, like your GPA, understanding academic credits, and understanding common jargon that's used when talking about exam results. The Student Union Deputy President also came on, and he talked about his experience as a student. In semester 2, we also had a mentor thank you ceremony. So mentors were presented with certificates for their participation to thank them for their participation with the program. They were also given one for all vouchers to all mentors, and 2 mentors gave a speech reflecting on their experience with the program. So that's how the program ran over semester 1 and 2. And now I'm going to talk you through how the program was evaluated. So it was evaluated in 3 different ways. First of all, we looked at the figures from the Get Connected live events. We also looked at the feedback survey from the first years, and we also looked at a feedback survey from the mentors at the end of the program. So this is the figures from the Get Connected Lives, which were the weekly webinars. In the first week, we had very high attendance with 285 students logging on to the webinar. In week 2, we also had quite high numbers as well, with 130 students logging on. We had 96 in week 3, and we had 50 in week 4. So there was a gradual decrease across the 4 weeks, but we did expect this decrease. We had anticipated that there would be a bit of drop off as the program progressed, which we attributed to students possibly feeling maybe more comfortable in college or feeling like they needed less support from the program. So overall, we were very happy with the figures and with the attendance figures for the webinars, and we felt that they reached a lot of students. Now just looking at the first year feedback survey. So feedback was collected from first years who engaged in the program, and we had an online survey, and there were 88 responses to this survey. So I'm going to talk you through some of the feedback from this survey now. So we asked students, did participating in the program make it easier to settle into college? So 50 students responded to say that they had found it difficult to settle in. And 33 out of those stated that taking part in the peer mentoring program helped them to settle into college. Now, one of the key aims of the mentoring program was to help students settle into college and make that transition a bit easier. And we felt we'd achieved this aim, as 66% said it did help them settle in. We also asked whether participating in the program made students feel less anxious. So 59 participants stated that they felt either very anxious or a little bit anxious starting college. And 48 of those stated that the program helped them feel a little bit less anxious. So again, one of the key aims here was to reduce students' anxiety around starting college. And we felt we definitely achieved that aim here, with 81% saying it did make them feel less anxious. We also asked whether the program helped students change their mind about dropping out of college. So 17 students in this survey had considered leaving TU Dublin at one point, and 11 said that the mentoring program helped change their mind about dropping out of college. So for quite a small survey, we felt that the figures here were quite large, and it really showed that the program is having a positive impact on student retention rates. Finally, we asked students would they recommend participating in the program to new first years starting off in future years, and 90% of those stated that they would recommend the program to future first years. So we felt that this was a really positive statistic here, and it seemed like a lot of first years found the program worthwhile, and they'd recommend it to new first years starting off. Now we just have some quotes from the feedback survey. We asked students what they found most useful about the program, and we had a variety of different responses. So I'll talk you through some of them now. So students said that it helped them feel more welcome, that the program helped them with their transition from secondary school to university. It made them feel more confident overall. It helped them to feel settled in. Helped them to get familiar with the services available in the college, to get out of their comfort zone and to learn new things. They found it easier to make new friends. It made them feel more confident about college, and they also got to receive good advice. They found out what their college course looked like. It helped them feel more at ease and prepared for the year ahead. It gave them access to someone who could help them. And finally, they were able to learn more about the student services that were available to them. So we really got a good picture of what students found useful from the program here. And we really felt that these quotes reflected the aims of the peer mentoring program, which was to help students with their transition into college, and also to help them with the social and the academic side of college. So now I'm going to pass you over to Suzanne, who's going to talk you through the mentor feedback.
Okay, thank you, Aisling. So as Aisling mentioned earlier, that there were three kind of pieces to the evaluation. So this is the third part, which is the mentor feedback survey. So out of the 55 peer mentors that there were, 47 responded to the survey, which is a really good response rate, 85%. And they were asked what kinds of topics came up as part of their discussions with first years. And some of the kind of the main ones that came up, I suppose, were timetable issues for students, managing their workload, approaching exams and assignments. And these are all things that we would hope would come up, I suppose, as part of the training that the mentors receive. You know, we kind of prompt them, we give them sort of questions and things that they can prompt students as well to kind of come up with some of the difficulties that they're experiencing. So we were delighted to see that these were the things that were being discussed. And also a high percentage also mentioned course content, accessing Moodle, and assistance with accessing online lectures. So this is all very useful information for us to see and kind of guides the content that we might include in sessions next year. Okay. So the students were then asked, overall, or the mentors were asked if they found that volunteering in the program was a worthwhile experience. So while, you know, we always hope that this will be of benefit to the mentees, the first year students, and helping them transition into third level, the mentors also get a lot out of being part of the program and being a mentor in the program. So we were delighted to see that 93% of the mentors said that they found the experience worthwhile. And they were asked if they would volunteer again as a mentor. 88 or 89% said that they would volunteer again, and 11% said they wouldn't. Our guess is that the reason that any of those mentors wouldn't is because there's a bit of a commitment to it in terms of time. And sometimes they say, look, I can't do it again for another year because I really want to focus on my own studies and work experience and all the things that they have, the other commitments that they have in their lives. Okay, so we now have just a nice short little clip here from one of our mentors, and he talks about his experiences of being a mentee when he was in first year as a mature student coming into college, how he found the program really beneficial to him, and as a result then he decided he wanted to become a mentor the following year. And he talks about kind of the value and why it was worthwhile being a mentor, you know, the experience that he got from the training aspect of it, to gaining more confidence in his own studies and in the work, in the field of work as well, and so improving his leadership skills and his group facilitation skills, because he was a student on the social and community development course. So we'll play this little clip for you now. You can listen to Martin.
Hi, my name is Martin and I'm a student on a community and youth development course. I'm also a member of the peer mentoring program. And peer mentoring has been a positive experience for me because it connected me with a group of people who had an interest in supporting each other. I have been out of the formal education system for over 30 years, so returning as a mature student, I had many fears and concerns. I started out by being mentored and my confidence grew from the experience. My mentor was fantastic and she inspired me to become a mentor myself. The peer mentoring training provided a relaxed and open environment in which we as peer mentors shared stories and ideas of our own journey through first year in university. with advice on how to overcome challenges associated with daily life. The peer mentoring program provided information, advice, and helped me build my skill set, in particular facilitation skills and storytelling. Enabled me to be more confident in interacting with groups and guiding discussions. We covered areas around getting connected, supports available, getting going, and well-being. This learning was valuable, not only at the start through first year, but also into second year. Skills learned on this program combined with reflective practice assisted with my studies. I built my facilitation skills, which aided my practice when I was on work placement. I would definitely recommend the peer mentoring program. It's an opportunity to pass on the benefits by being available to share experiences and information and advice to fellow students starting out on their journey in TU Dublin. At the same time, you benefit from the experience, skills, and learning. It's a great group to be part of.
Okay, so that was Martin's experience. And like I said, a very positive experience, both as a mentee and a mentor. So thanks to Martin for sending that little video clip into us for the purposes of this presentation. So we're on to the last piece of our presentation now. Just some of the suggestions that the mentors, that we asked the mentors for their suggestions for improving the programme for next year. And one thing that came up was the piece around chats. So Aisling mentioned earlier the 3 strands to the programme are around the calls, the live events and the chats. And the calls and the live events were quite successful and very useful, but they said that the chats weren't so useful. And we think that this might be because of the switching between platforms from MS Teams for the calls and the live events to Moodle was being used for the chats, so Moodle discussion boards. So we think that maybe in the future we'll have a look at maybe an alternative platform or using MS Teams to just streamline the 3 strands. They also suggested that there might be timetabled slots for each class instead of time set by the mentor for this. So they instead of currently the mentor comes up with their own slot to meet with the students, but maybe the coordinator in future could look at the timetables for the first years and the mentors and try and find some middle ground where they both have time free, might work better. Another student, this is a nice quote that another student gave us, a mentor gave us, and they said that maybe getting the mentors online at the start so that they could introduce themselves to all the first years. It helps put a face to the name, and a friendly introduction could help students connect a little bit more. So we definitely think that that's a really nice suggestion, and we'll take that on board. And then finally, I suppose the students themselves and the mentors and lecturers and the academic staff have all kind of suggested on a yearly basis that maybe the programme could be a little bit longer. I suppose the only challenge that we have around that is that we don't want to ask for too much more commitment from the mentors, because we know that they're really busy in their own courses and they're out on work placement and they've got a busy schedule. So asking them to do additional work, we feel, might just put some people off. But it does come up year after year. So we'll definitely look at that. So our conclusions then are really kind of, I suppose, based around some of those suggestions as well. But that I think we're happy that those that did engage with the programme this year definitely found it useful, both the mentors and the mentees. And we see now that we can adapt this and that it can be effective in the online world. 90% of first years recommend it, and 93% of the mentors found it worthwhile as well. So we were really happy with that. We will look into MS Teams instead of Moodle for the discussion boards. And we will also keep in mind the annual suggestion to extend the programme. One lecturer did say to us that maybe around week 8, when things begin to pile up for students, it's kind of that time of semester 1 when things can be a little bit stressful. Students might think at that point about dropping out of their course. It might be just a really nice time to reconnect and get the program, get the mentors reconnected with the mentees again, just to support them. So we will look into that. And then also just a nice point from one of the lecturers that she said that she found that the online sessions this year were more focused and structured than when they were on campus in the sports hall. And I think it's just to do with the noise in the sports hall. When there's a lot of people in there, it can be difficult to hear sometimes, even within the small groups. So that's just the end of our presentation now. We'd like to thank you for logging in and viewing our presentation. And we welcome you to make contact with us if you have any questions or you want to discuss the programme a little bit more. Our phone number and email address is there. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.